An SUV this big can get messy.
John Lennon can't be dead.
4 cops pulled John Lennon out and put him into the back of a police car, and his mouth, he was bleeding from his mouth, and it was a terrible sight.
On the morning of December 8th, 1980, John Lennon did a photo shoot for Rolling Stone magazine with his wife, Yoko Ono. Later that afternoon, they departed their building where they were greeted by a fan who wanted their autograph. Lennon signed the copy of his most recent album, Double Fantasy. Then, John Lennon and his wife came here to the record plant to record Yoko Ono's single, Walking on Thin Ice. They spent most of the day and evening here. Just after 10 p.m., they got into a car and returned home. It would be the final time John Lennon would ever step foot inside a record studio.
They stepped out of the limousine, and they went inside the gate there, and then all of a sudden, they heard 5, 6 shots, and that was it.
When they returned back home later that night, the same fan that asked John Lennon for an autograph pulled out a gun and shot him in cold blood in the vestibule of his building.
Mr. Chapman came up behind him and called to him, Mr. Lennon, as he arrived at that doorway. And then in a combat stance, he emptied the Charter Arms .38 caliber gun that he had with him and shot John Lennon.
Police responded to the scene right away, and when they saw the amount of blood coming from Lennon's body, they knew they could not wait for an ambulance. They took him and put him in the back of a cop car and went directly to the hospital. They also arrested the shooter, Mark David Chapman, on the scene.
Well, it was about 10:30 in the evening, and we were parked, my partner and I were parked at the corner of 72nd Street and Amsterdam Avenue, and we heard a call come over the air of possible shots fired near the Dakota. We saw a few people standing around, everybody kind of frozen. My partner got out, he ran to one side, and I came around from the other side, and some fellow was coming to me at the same time, and he said to me, officer, be careful, somebody's shooting a gun in there. They're firing those shots. And that's when I realized that we had the real thing happening. We didn't see Lennon at that time. And I said to Jose, the doorman who I knew, I said, Jose, what's going on here? And he pointed in the direction of this fellow with the overcoat on. And he said, he just shot Lennon. So I said to my partner, Steve, I said, Steve, stay with this guy. Put him up against the wall. Went inside, and I saw Lennon lying face down on the rug, and he was bleeding profusely. Hollered out to Steve, Steve, we got a real shooting here. Better cuff that guy. He actually was fairly polite. I turned to him and I said, you know, you just threw your whole damn life away. Chapman started talking about a little person inside of him and a big person inside of him. The big person has been winning the battle up to now, but tonight the little person won the battle.
John Lennon was brought to Roosevelt Hospital, which is Mount Sinai Hospital today. Hospital staff at the time were notified that they had a gunshot victim that needed immediate attention. According to doctors, John Lennon was shot 4 times in the chest, with 3 of the bullets exiting his back.
The first thing I remember that was a little out of the ordinary is they paged from the overhead to the ER, which they usually don't do. Usually they would call your beeper, you respond, answer the beeper, they give you a name or a message, whatever. The other thing that was unusual, he did not show up by ambulance. He showed up by a police car. He was in the back of a cop car. He gets put on the stretcher, wheeled down the hall. He's wearing his brown leather jacket with a little fur collar. He had blue jeans on, track shoes, and a red T-shirt with Oriental print on it. Opened his chest and started giving internal cardiac massage. The heart itself was intact, and the vessels above the heart were injured, and we worked on them. We didn't know who he was. We just worked on him. And you get into a rhythm. You start pumping the heart, people doing their thing, and someone starts going through his belongings. And And at that point, someone says, you know, his driver's license, and I remember seeing a gold American Express card that said John Lennon. And up before that, someone said, hey, that looks like John Lennon. And I said, no, that's not John Lennon. You know, it's like Doubting Thomas. It couldn't possibly be John Lennon. And then they brought out his stuff, his ID. It is John Lennon. And that's when I had my OMG moment.
After 30 minutes of trying to save his life, doctors pronounced John Lennon dead.
By that time, the ER director, Dr. Lynn, had been called. Once they found out who it was,
John Lennon was brought to the emergency room at the Roosevelt site, St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital, this evening, shortly before 11 p.m.
I mean, it affected me. Not the fact that I held his heart in my hands or operating, but the fact that he died, I think, affected me more than anything else. For the next 3 days, I couldn't listen to the radio, watch TV, read a newspaper. It was all John Lennon and just reminding me of the few nights before. And there's a lot of hindsight, second guessing. What if he wasn't so severely injured? Was there anything he could have done more? I think everything was done correctly. He was, I think, gravely injured. But it's still, you still feel somewhat responsible. It still gnaws at you. You know where there are certain moments in your life, and obviously I have not forgotten this one.
Yoko Ono, who was inside the hospital, was given the sad news by doctors that her husband had passed away. She was then placed in the back of a cop car and given a police escort where she returned home to the Dakota. But at that point, word had gotten out that John Lennon had passed away, and the building was mobbed with fans from all over. In 1985, Yoko Ono and then New York City Mayor Ed Koch dedicated part of Central Park to John Lennon's memory. Ono, who still lives in the Dakota, overlooks the area known as Strawberry Fields, where she can see fans sing her husband's songs, lay flowers, and celebrate his memory.
There's no telling just what music the world has been deprived of with him not being here.
It would be nice to think what he would have done.
Robbie!
Alive. The fact that I'm doing anything.
What? We're live, dude. Are we gonna go ride bikes today? I don't know yet. Are you going live? I don't know. Just keeping up on my status. The hell are you doing? I don't know. I was gonna do an editing live stream, but I'm not gonna do that. Meow. Just got done eating some like cookie dough. I never got cookie dough. What? I never got cookie dough.
At the end of the day, I know I'm a good mom. Mom, I need a costume today. But at the beginning of the day, I'm not so
Yeah,
sure.
shut that off before you get
Mom, are we
copyrighted.
late? Yeah, considerably late.
Oh wait, I can't show it. Yeah.
We work really hard to give our kids everything they need to succeed. But the
You could
mom
show
is
ads,
real.
can't you?
But I got rid of my mom.
Oh yeah, this is an ad.
Because I taught my kids how to read
Stay
before they entered
safe.
kindergarten,
You have to
and the
learn.
rest just kinda takes care of
It's just
itself.
dynamics, you know.
Mommy, what does fire lane mean? It means mom.
That's my duty,
Welcome to
yummy.
episode 2 of Chasing Yummy.
Can't show it.
What are we calling this? Like abandoned?
Chasing Yummy, the abandoned war zone. The abandoned shit war zone.
Warning, this video contains super awesome content.
Oi, Brian, what we gonna do today?
Super awesomeness. Viewer discretion.
You're gonna get copyrighted again. Yeah, I can't show that. I can show crap on my channel. They're like, hey, this guy's showing some other kid's channel. Let's copyright him. Dude, it's my channel. Why do you have a cold water sitting right here? Because I'm gonna drink it in a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Creditreport.com, baby. You're lucky I didn't squeeze that.
Neck and everything. I'm not fussed about that because displaying that would look kind of wonky anyway. I'm not a fan of large neck.
Can't show that. I can show the mask.
Clean display. This one was rehauled by someone on eBay. Not sure of who they are. I think it was like a creepy mask, some really generic name or something like that. But I'm definitely stoked with the way they came out. It's not one of my favorite masks, but if you look at it structurally and from a sculptor's perspective, this is probably the closest to the original that you're going to find. And I mean that in a sense of this being.
Don't you have the original mask?
H1. A lot of sculptural
I have
look
a
identical to the Hero
Halloween
mask from
2018 and a Halloween.
and I think that's what they were going for,
Still
along with
working on
making it look slightly
getting
different, which is why it
Halloween
is a
2
far
mask
less
that looks
intimidating
like a
mask. For
Halloween 2
whatever
mask.
reason, they just could not seem to nail the fact that the Myers mask looked
Hello, boo-boo.
intimidating.
Boo-boo. You know boo-boo. No, Moki. Moki, no. Oh, Moki. Moki, no. Moki, come here. Mok. Come here. Come here, boo-boos. Oh, there's that one.
There's what?
There's that one that
definitely the most detailed as far as the paint job goes. They put a lot of little subtle shadowing and stuff on this mask, and I think
they're all Michael Myers,
not
dude.
just a pure white mask. This one actually has some depth to it by the paint job. This is a Cinema Secrets Resurrection mask, which actually comes from the real mold that was used in the movie. Cinema Secrets actually did the FX and stuff for that movie, so they owned the real mold and they released it.
Come here. Come here, Lucky. Lucky. No, come here. What's the puppies doing?
The hair on it is actually fantastic. It just needs styled. So we'll be keeping that original, and once it's repainted, it'll look like a completely new mask. I'm not crazy about the movie, but I definitely think that the mask looked intimidating. So I think once we get this
she told me that you said, what?
Moving along to the reboot, we have the Rob Zombie mask, and somehow I have enough of these to make up like half of
Yeah, there's that Rob Zombie.
Clean Destroyer here by Russell Lewis, who has done all of the Rob Zombie versions in
Oh,
my
the
collection. So all the masks that you're going to see from this point on until we get to the life-size displays were actually made by Russell Lewis. Like
Told me
I
that
said,
you
this is a
said
clean
what to
destroyer
her
by
when she
Russell.
walked in.
Favorite sculpt and paint job out of all the copies offered.
Yeah, she
I
just
do know
came
the
and
Delator
she slapped on the
company
bottom
makes
like,
awesome runs because of the Rob Zombie masks, but the wait time is insane. Prices are a bit more than I would like to pay, especially when I can get them quicker and cheaper from Russell, and they look just as good, in my opinion.
You're wanting the whole entire full Michael Myers collection, huh? Not those, because those are the ones that I don't like. Especially that one right
Get
there.
this thing in the right lighting,
It looks cool, but
evil. Say what you will about Rob Zombie's
the
movies.
movie.
I said it before, at least Michael Myers looks
The
cool
movie.
again. And like I mentioned earlier,
The
this
movie,
replica was
that
done by
Rob
Russell
Zombie's
Lewis,
Michael
and I
Myers
believe
movie,
offers
it
probably
wasn't
the
that
best
good,
ones,
so
especially for the price that you're paying.
I
Here
didn't
we
do
have
that.
another
Nobody
Russell
has been
Lewis
on
piece.
my
I
live
don't
stream.
believe that
I'm
this
still
sculpt is
live
a
streaming.
destroyer. I'm pretty sure this is a revolver, and I'm not
Oh,
sure if
actually,
Russell was the one who sculpted that,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't think so. But he did the finish on the mask, so all the hair work, the blood work there on the side, and then the regular paint work was done by Russell. Definitely a fan of this mask because this is probably the coolest scene in Halloween 2, the remake. I love that hospital scene, even some of the far-fetched stuff where you can pretty much tell it's a dream. I just love how brutal Myers is, and I love the way he looks. I love the rain, and it's probably my favorite scene from the movie. So naturally, I dig the mask.
I hope he's
Here we
moving.
have the actual H2 mask, and this was also done by Russell Lewis. This is another destroyer, and I believe this is before he resculpted the H2, so I don't think this is from his H2 that he just
You like
did.
that mask?
I think this is the
Oh, yeah,
prior
'cause I
version,
like
or
how it
the
has
first
that
one or
yellow
whatever.
to
I
it.
don't know how many times he redid that, but I got this before Halloween just a couple days ago. If you want to see the full unboxing, all you got to do is go down a couple videos on my channel and you'll see it. I have a lot of noobs asking me why the mask is this color, and I will try to explain this as quickly as possible. This is how the mask looked in the movie. What do I mean by that? Well, Michael Myers had been walking around with this already 15-plus-year-old mask in his pocket for 1 to 2 years, depending on which version you watch. Latex is a natural material, so it breaks down over time. It discolors, it gets crunchy, it gets squishy, and it just kind of gets gross. So naturally, a mask that is kept in a homeless man's pocket that wanders around for a year or two is going to be pretty gross. Sweat, heat, sunlight, all that stuff can make a mask start rotting. And since the mask was already rotting, it was only going to get worse from there. So that is why the mask was
That mask is already
shot
rotting.
incredibly dark with
No.
a lot of different lighting.
But
So
see
we
that
based
guy?
this directly
He
off
was
of
under that
photos was
mask.
behind the scenes,
And
in
that's
magazines,
a
etc.,
pretty tall
with
guy
good
right
lighting.
there.
Another reason it looks so intense is because I
That's
just
about
used a very
5'9".
He's pretty short compared to that guy.
That guy's huge. He is 6'3". Not a lot of people are 6'3".
neck and everything. I'm not fussed about that.
Dude,
because
you
displaying
serious?
that
We
was
just-
creepy. By that, well, down over time. It just got with a very big rush because at least for the remakes, we have basically the same exact
Then
match
there's
with
that
a
one.
slight tear and a lot of the face missing because when Michael Myers killed a stripper, she had to get a hold of his mask and rip a piece off. That's the only story. That's why it's a half mask, and it's also painted the exact same for the reasons that I just listed. Okay.
He had him rip off a
Moving
piece
on to
of
Oh,
the right
yeah.
side
That's
today,
the
on
Halloween
other
2
end
that
of
I
the
want.
front room, we have my H2 display. This one was never set out to be like a super accurate display, which is why we have a Warlock on it and not something closer to Halloween.
Who's
2,
right
like
behind
the
that?
99 Shatner or some sort of Kirk. I just really like Warlocks. I always have. They definitely.
Yeah,
make me
Warlock
think of
was
Halloween
better.
2, so
What?
when I wanted
Who's
to do
behind
a
that?
life-size display,
No one.
I knew that I had
A
to
mannequin.
get Warlock on there. The paint on it isn't
It's a
phenomenal,
mannequin.
but I will say that
So-
it looks better in highlight than low light. I just think it looks a little more.
I just want to
intimidating when
find
you
out
can
where he
see
got
all
his
the scuffs
Warlock,
and the dirt on the
because
mask and stuff.
that's
Definitely
the
a fan
type of
the hair
H2
on the
mask that
I
I'm
love
looking
how it
for.
comes off the back like that and kind of points out behind the ears. Definitely makes me think of H2. Like I said, it's not supposed to be super accurate. We don't have any gunshots on this. I never went through the trouble of fucking with this suit because I'm probably going to replace the suit soon. We do have little subtle pieces here like blood on the hand, and he's just a little dirty and stuff like that, but he's fully dressed, he's got his boots on and stuff, and he just kind of guards the scooters, and Slappy's taking a nap. But yeah, that is my H2 display. Not the best, but I like it for what it is. So.
Slappy
And
the
last
Dummy,
but
that was
not
the
least,
original.
We have the
That's the
Halloween
mask that I
2018
have.
with my stock Trick or Treat Studios Michael Myers 2018 mask, and I'm not going to be doing anything with this mask. I like the paint job that it came with. I
Yes,
feel like I
yeah,
got
I see
very
the same
lucky
thing.
when it comes
Everybody's
to
like,
Trick or Treat
dude,
Studio stuff.
you should
I just
totally,
ordered
like,
that second
redo
hand
makeup
off of
on it. I'm
eBay,
like, dude, it's
and,
perfect.
just has
I
a
don't
better
need to
paint
do
job than
crap
most
with
of them
it.
that are out there. So I'm going to be leaving it alone, and I actually have another one that is rehauled from a friend coming. So make sure to check that video out when it comes.
Alright, so that's about it for all the other masks. There's a video of me. I won't get copyrighted for showing that. It's an update that I made.
You don't want to?
No, I don't. I don't feel like it. Alright, I'm gonna put this away so I can go get my other bike and I can go right around. I was thinking about bringing the orange one, but
No, go get the one that you brought.
I didn't bring one.
Or maybe the one that you had.
Oh, the was riding yesterday
Yeah.
with the pedal brakes and the front back brakes.
Yeah.
Oh, I need the rotate device. You're going in the pouch. I have more in overalls, and there's a pouch, and that's where. Heck yeah! This tin was in my backpack. I don't know where it came from. I tried opening it. A little hard. Nothing?
Nothing.
Dang.
You're red.
Dang. Hold on.
This is a tin that we just found in
My backpack.
his backpack. He didn't even know what it was.
Nope. This is kind of weird. It's like both sides of the tin That is weird, man.
This is the original color of the tent. It's gray.
Dark gray.
What are you doing with it?
I don't know. I'm gonna get my. How am I gonna carry?
Yeah, how are you gonna carry it?
Probably just in my arms.
So you can see what else is right.
Yeah. Are you gonna be behind me? Riding the bike? What are you gonna be doing?
Probably staying at home.
Really?
Really?
Oh, dang. Well, I got a low battery right now, so I'm gonna check with you homies later. So, this is live. I know it's been dark for most of the time. I'm right here. So, peace.